folks, if we could have you just come in a little bit closer. We would appreciate that. I'd like to start by welcoming everyone and thanking you for being here on this most happy of days. It's no accident that each of you are here and that you were invited to be here, because you represent, each one of us represent someone that is special to Dave and or to Sandy. The most remarkable moment in life is when you meet the person that makes you feel most complete. The person who makes the world a beautiful and magical place. The person with whom you share a bond so special that it transcends normal relationships and becomes something so pure and so wonderful that you can't imagine spending another day of your life without them. I know how deeply these two care and love each other, and I feel privileged to be here today among you as one of the witnesses of their commitment to a lifetime of love for one another. So let's look at the love story today. Dave and Sandy have asked that I keep this short. By the way, Dave's part of this is the longest. Never again will he accuse the brother-in-law, the preacher, of being long-winded. He asked me to keep it classy and short, family-friendly. No, he didn't say family-friendly, but he politely asked me to leave out stories that might be unflattering to him. So I've shelved those stories for this. As a third-party spectator to their developing love, it was extremely clear that the two of them represent a perfect pairing, because each one of them complements the other so well. They balance one another. And while each of them are tremendous individuals on their own, together they're even better. And being better together as a team, a unit, and partners in crime is what has been in the making and ultimately leads us to being here today, witnessing their commitment to one another in front of those that they love most. I wish I could tell you a single story about Dave and Sandy that summarizes their relationship and how they enrich each other's lives and the lives of so many of us. But the truth is, there isn't one single event that's a good encapsulation of what they mean to me and to others as well. But what I do know is that both of them care deeply and passionately for each other. They protect each other. They make each other laugh and think outside of themselves. The time magically seems to fly by and slow down when they're together. They help each other in ways that are obvious and yet unnoticed, but always appreciated. I also know that it's not just anyone with whom you can have communication with simply a look, and Sandy knows how to give the look. Or remember the weirdest names of each other's pasts, or surprise each other with reservations at a restaurant you've been eyeing for years, or say, "I'm sorry," every time it's warranted. Well, eventually. They do that for each other. But it's also my personal experience with Dave and Sandy that highlight the quality of their love. It doesn't matter if I'm with them in person or simply in a bizarre group family text once in a while. When I'm engaging with them, I'm always enjoying myself. I'm always laughing because Sandy always has something to say. And it's always funny. That's one of the things that I appreciate about you, is you take someone who has been serious most of their life as a drill instructor for the Air Force, and you make him laugh. You bring the Dave that I remember as a young man back out. And it is so good to see him smile and be happy. I'm certain that there's parts of what makes them so special to each other, but how happy and contented we feel when we are with them. And what I wish for them on their wedding day is that their lifetime together as a team is one of complete contentment. full of those moments that they wish would never end. Whether sitting on the front porch of the cabin or at Kyle Field watching the Aggies. Yes, I said that.
I bit my tongue.
That they would,
From an Alabama fan.
that they would continue to make one another laugh and smile through the good and through the tough times. We're gathered here today to join Dave and Sandy in the union of marriage. This contract is not entered into lightly, but thoughtfully, seriously, and with a deep realization of its obligations and responsibilities. Dave and Sandy have prepared their own vows that they would like to share with one another now. Sandy, would you start, please? Let's go ahead and go. Okay, I'm sorry.
If I had it my way, this would be the first time that you made love. I'd be the first man that your hands touched. But we've both done our share of living, taking chances we were given. I've never been big on looking back. I don't care if I'm your first love, but I'd love to be your last. If I could do it over, I'd have waited for this moment to give my heart to you. Brought us together. Doesn't really matter whether we were saints or sinners in the past. I don't care if I'm your first love. I just love to be your last. All I know is what I see when I look at you, and all I see is what I'm feeling down inside, and all I'm feeling is this feeling that I finally got it When I wake up tomorrow, I'm gonna throw my arms around you. Thank my lucky stars I found you. 'Cause I know your heart had so much more than any man has touched me forever. Nothing matters more to me than that. I don't care if I'm your first love, but I'd love to be your last.
And I'm probably not going to make it through this without crying. For the first time in my life, I've done something right. Ever since I was a little girl, I prayed for a man who would love me for me. He would be loving, kind, and faithful. He would be strong and protect me, not only physically, but also spiritually. He would be a godly man that would not only pray with me, but pray for me. He would be my best friend, my soulmate. He would also balance me out, because you know those 12 squirrels in a possum, they calm down sometimes. And he would make me laugh, even on days that were rough. As the years passed, and through many right turns, I found myself giving up on this prayer, because I had made so many wrong decisions in life that I figured God didn't think I was worthy of such a man. But God knew that I had a lot of work to do on me before I could truly appreciate you. Then one day I was leaving Albert, Texas. And instead of making my usual right turn, I made a left. And it led me to you. The first time I saw your face, that's where God spoke to me and said, that's him. God, in all his graciousness, blessed me beyond measure that day. Because that day, with that left turn, God led me home to the man who had destined for me. And for the first time since my dad went to heaven, I feel truly loved and protected. I feel safe. I am home. To Joyce and to David, these are my promises to you. I promise I will never view you as a stepchild, but you are simply my child. I promise to love you and support you in your goals, and always be a place that you can turn to in the good and the bad times. I promise to always be the mom you can depend on. I promise I will love and cherish your dad the way he deserves, and to live my life out making him happy. Above all, I promise that you will always have a family and a home to come home to. Dad, Dave, I love you. You are the most incredible person I have ever known. You are so handsome and intelligent, funny, and loving. You are everything I have ever prayed for and so much more. And I am so blessed that you chose me. Today I stand before God and our family, and I make these promises to you. I promise to always love, honor, and cherish you. I promise to encourage and inspire you and support your dreams. I promise to love you through the good and the bad times. I promise to always be faithful and to never place anyone or anything above you except for God. I promise to always be your best friend and always laugh at your corny jokes. I promise to allow you to lead me as the head of our family, even if I might kick and scream a little in the process. I promise to work with you to achieve our dreams and to make you proud to call me your wife. I promise to begin each day and end each night giving thanks to God for one more day to love you and to be loved by you, because you are truly his gift to me.
on this journey nearly 2 years ago. Started out by messaging back and forth and talked on the phone a few times. Even found we had things in common. I even asked you out a couple of times and you turned me down. The last time you even yelled at me. I don't like football. I guess not everyone appreciates a game at Kyle Field. There was more to it than that, though. Neither one of us were at a place in our lives to be ready for what God had in store for us. We both had some healing to do. We kind of drifted our separate ways after that, although I have to admit to stalking you on Facebook. The more I followed from a distance, though, the more amazed I became at the woman you are. Successful in your business, positive attitude, focused on God, love of your family, and a down-home, true blue country girl. You're the kind of woman I've been praying for my whole life. So we fast forward to this past January, and I was at an airport and on my way to Fayetteville for work, and I get a message from you asking if I wanted to meet for lunch in Bryan, but then you realized that I was traveling, and I guess someone else was Facebook stalking. From there, our story, of course, accelerates into another gear. We agreed to meet for our first date at the haunted hotel you had listed in Calvert, where you took your left turn. I was absolutely petrified to go on that date. I was scared to death to meet you. I had you placed you on such a high pedestal that I didn't know if I'd measured up. A couple of coworkers talked me into it, and I'm glad they did. Once I got out of my truck and you kind of sashayed over and you smiled that pretty smile and asked me, "Hey cowboy, you sure you're ready for this?" Those were the first words she said to me. We had 3 dates that first weekend, and as we drove back from meeting Sherman that first time, who she warned me about you for 30 miles.
Please don't hold this against me.
As we were driving back, you asked me, just out of the blue, "What are we doing here?" Because I'm too old to play games. Truth be told, I'm not sure exactly what I said at that time, but I know what I felt. I fell in love with you instantly and never wanted to be apart from you. I knew that God had brought you into my life because I could never dream this good. So when we met with Pat and Joe a few weeks ago to discuss what we wanted for a ceremony, he told us, in fact he asked us, if we were going to write our own vows to make sure and include God in them. That's probably the easiest part of this whole thing. As we stand here today, we know there's no us without him. We have no doubt God has brought us together. As we commit our lives together, we have first committed our lives to him individually. We serve God first and each other next. And we know that by placing him first in our lives and in our marriage, nothing formed against us shall stand. With God for us, who can be against us? So now that I've told everyone a little bit of our story, now it's time for my promises. To Beth and Brandon and Tamara. Although you're not in my flesh, you will always be a piece of my heart. I promise I will never be anything you don't want me to be, but I will always be everything you need me to be. I will be ears to listen, eyes to see a viewpoint, a sounding board for ideas or just a vent, but most important, I will be available. I promise I will take care of your mom, even when she swears she doesn't need anyone's help. I will love her more deeply than she's ever been loved before. I will support her, honor her, and cherish her every day of the rest of my life. To my almost wife, my honey, my beautiful angel, I vow that you will never know another day of not feeling valued. I vow to treat you with kindness and respect like you have never known before. I vow to dance you around the kitchen and on the porch with the music only we can hear. I vow to make you laugh every day, even though you're the only one who has ever thought I was funny. I I vow to sing every George Strait and Cody Johnson song I know, even though you're the only one who likes my voice. I vow to hold you close every night and every morning, falling asleep with you on my chest and waking up with you in my arms. Your eyes will be the last thing I see at night and the first thing I see each morning. I vow to share my whole heart with you, all that I am and all that I ever will be. I give completely to you. I vow that these hands will always touch and hold you lovingly, and they will always protect you and never do you harm. I vow to spend every day of the rest of my life earning your trust, living my life in a manner that you never have any doubt of my fidelity to you and our covenant together. I vow to cherish you and to show you how proud I am to walk beside you through life as your soulmate. I vow to love you with every fiber of my being, a mile beyond the end of the road, and one day pass forever. I may not be your first love, but I promise to be your last. To answer the first question you ever asked me, yes, Sandy Magerton, this cowboy is ready for this.
And now, Dave, do you take Sandy to be your wife? Do you promise to love, honor, cherish, and protect her, forsaking all others, and holding only on to her till death do you part? Sandy, do you take Dave to be your husband? Do you promise to love, honor, cherish, protect, forsaking all others, and holding only on to him till death do you part? Dave and Sandy will now exchange rings as a symbol of love and commitment for each other. Rings are a precious metal. They're always made precious by you wearing them. Your wedding rings are special. They enhance who you are. They mark the beginning of your long journey together. Your wedding ring is a circle, a symbol of love, never ending. It's the seal of the vows you have taken to one another, to love each other without end. Dave, please take the ring for Sandy and place it upon her left hand and repeat after me. As a sign of my love, that I have chosen you, above all else, with this ring, I thee wed. Sandy, would you please take the ring and place it upon the finger on Dave's left hand and repeat after me. As a sign of my love, that I have chosen you, above all else, with this ring, I thee wed. To make your relationship work will take love. Continue to date each other. Continue to take time to show that your love and your marriage grows stronger with time. It will take trust to know that in your hearts you truly want what is best for each other. It will take dedication to stay open to one another and to learn and grow together. It will take loyalty to go forward together without knowing exactly what the future brings. And it will take commitment to hold joy or to hold true to the journey you have both pledged today. So now, by the power vested in me by God and by the state of Texas, it's my honor and delight to declare you husband and wife, to go forth and live each day to its fullest. So this day, at this moment, you may seal this declaration with a kiss.
Cynthia, turn your head.
Turn your head.
Turn your head.
Get a room.
You're in our room.
Get a different room. Before I officially introduce them, I want the very first thing after this symbol of unity of a kiss to be a prayer. And I'd like to pray over you, not just as your officiant, but also as your brother or brother-in-law. And I want you to know, Dave, your sister and I will always be there for you and for your beautiful bride. We're always a place where you can come to get away from real life and enjoy the beach. We're always a place where you have security and shelter when the world shakes around you. We love you and we care about you. So Father, I'm thankful for this couple. I'm thankful for how you have brought them together and what you have in store for them. And Lord, I pray that the weight, the gravity upon which they have entered into today with not just an agreement, but a covenant. And how they have brought you in to this covenant, this contract. God, I pray that you would ever show the way for them. Be with them. I pray that your blessing over this marriage. And Lord, that through the good times in this world and the bad times, that would always be three in this wedding. Lord, a groom, a bride, and you. Lord, bless them this day, I pray, in Jesus' name. It's with great joy today that I present to you Mr. and Mrs. Dave Rauschenberger.
You forgot part of the deal. He's so fast. And anybody has any objections?
Oh, yeah.
I don't have any objections.